Classical QED 89.3 goes great with your morning coffee. Good evening, Indiana and beyond. You are tuned into The Soup here on 90.1 WIUP-FM. I'm your host, Finn, and tonight is a very special episode because it is themed entirely around the 2004 cult classic film, Napoleon Dynamite. I first saw this movie when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and it has remained my favorite of all time pretty much ever since. And fun fact, the Napoleon Dynamite soundtrack was actually the very first CD I ever owned, I think. I think my older brother gave it to me. So tonight we'll be hearing mainly songs straight off that soundtrack, but I also sprinkled in a few tracks that I think fit in really well with the aesthetic and the overall sound of the movie. Kicking off the show tonight was I Want Candy by Bow Wow Wow, which was featured in the movie's trailer. And coming up next is the White Stripes with We're Gonna Be Friends, which was played during the film's opening titles. You probably know it, but if you don't, I hope you love it as much as I do.
Good evening. You're listening to 90.1 WIUP-FM. I'm your host, Gaff.
And I'm Goof. And welcome to the Goof and Gaff Show, a Vinyl-thon exclusive only on 90.1 WIUP-FM out of Indiana, PA. The one, the only Indiana, PA.
Only Indiana, PA, of course. So we'll be spinning some tracks. First one you heard was out of my collection. That was Norwegian Wood off of my favorite Beatles album, Rubber Soul. And then we heard a great track by... You're not even ready for this one. Six Fat Dutchmen. I found that one at the Goodwill, the local Indiana Goodwill, and the yield was bountiful that day because I found the world's #1 polka band. Six Fat Dutchmen, and that track name was Dig That Crazy Oompa Man, in parentheses, polka. I did not know what to expect, but it's going to be stuck in my head all night, I think.
I've been walking around all day going, dig that crazy Oompa Man.
All right, well, we have another track coming up from Goof's collection.
Yes, so this next one is One More Minute by Weird Al. Very underrated track. Enjoy. Take us on the go with the WQED-FM app, available now. Good evening, Indiana and beyond. You are listening to 90.1 WIUP-FM, your alternative source. This is The Soup. Welcome. Soup's on, and I'm your host, Finn. And tonight, I've got a very special theme for the show. Tonight, I'm calling it an ode to my teenage iPod Touch. I feel like I don't have to convince you that my my music taste in middle school was not exactly stellar. I don't think anybody's was, but that being said, we're going to be starting off with some weird ones tonight. Some cuts from artists that you have never heard on The Soup, and you will never hear on The Soup again, because this is an alternative show, and it just would not make sense. But you are going to be hearing Taylor Swift, The Beatles, Imagine Dragons, and the Lemonade Mouth soundtrack. Later on, we'll get into some real music. So, stay tuned for that. We've got Foo Fighters, David Bowie, Alabama Shakes later. But kicking things off tonight, we've got my favorite cut from the Lemonade Mouth soundtrack. This is She's So Gone. Again, that was Ready or Not by Bridget Mendler. I highly recommend you give the video a chance. Just go watch it, because if 2012 was a video, it would be that video. After that was, of course, Starlight by Taylor Swift off of the Red album. And I may not be a Swiftie now, but there's no denying that back in the day, like 2010 through 2013, I was a big Swiftie, and it's hard to choose Speak Now or Red, but I feel like Red might have had more of an impact. And, if you would have asked me back then, I would have been like, Starlight is such an underrated gem, it's so underplayed off of the Red album. Nothing is underplayed off of the Red album, come on, but Starlight, I think it's an underrated Taylor Swift cut. nothing takes me back like that song. Even today, I'll go back and I'll listen to her early albums, and I'm just like, I know every single word. I remember every little thing about it. It's burrowed in my brain like a parasite. It's never going away, and I'm fine with that. I was listening to Fox's show last night at around like 3 a.m. He played Bon Iver backwards for an entire song.
Oh my God. I don't even... I love it. Well, anything goes as long as it's vinyl, so...
Yeah. You can't come for us.
No,
you can't come for us. It's vinyl. We're getting that golden slip mat, baby.
Whatever you say, we're getting it. Okay? And we're going to frame it, and it's going to be beautiful.
Hey, want to listen to some tunes?
You are listening to Indiana's very young college radio station, 90.1 WIUP-FM. You can't see, but I'm doing jazz hands. Ooh.
We are doing jazz hands in the booth.
In the studio tonight.
Shake those hands.
Shake those hands. So earlier you heard Daytime Drama by Billy Idol off the Rebel Yell album. And what did you spin for us? We've been spinning some great cuts here lately. And to keep those records spinning beyond Vinylthon, you can support WIUP-FM anytime by going to WIUPFM.org and clicking the support button. Please do that. Please. Give
us your money.
Give us your money.
You could tell it's real vinyl because of the crackles, yeah. I promise. We're not lying.
You've just been duping them this whole time.